Okay, hi everyone, welcome back, and in this video we are going to check out ICP's price chart and see what is happening in the short term. But before that, we are going to dive into a very important, powerful business strategy that has been around forever, but it's now finding new life in the world of blockchain, and it is called vertical integration. And we touched on this in the previous video, but now it's time to do a deep dive. So at first, let's start simple. What is actually vertical integration? You see, vertical integration is when a company doesn't only focus on one stage of its industry. No, it actually tries to control multiple stages of the supply chain, and that could mean everything from manufacturing to distribution to even the final sales to the customer. It's like saying, why should I pay someone else to do this part for me when I can just do it all by myself? Now, vertical integration comes in two main types. Number one is forward integration, and it's basically when a company moves closer to the customer. This is important. And for example, you can think of a manufacturer opening its own retail stores instead of selling through Amazon or maybe Walmart. Number two is backward integration, and it's when a company moves closer to its raw materials or suppliers. For example, think of a car company buying a steel plant so they don't have to rely on third-party suppliers. Now, and some companies even do a full-blown vertical integration, which means they control every single thing from raw materials to end products, kind of like Apple designing their own chips, building the hardware, running the software, and selling the product in their own special store. Now, here's a question. Why do companies actually love vertical integration? What's the deal in here? You see, that's because it can actually give them more control, efficiency, and profits. And here is what I mean by that. Number one reason for why companies love vertical integration, it's because they can have better control over quality and cost. And again, there is that word cost. I'm going to talk about this in every single video. As long as you are able to compete with great cost, you are just going to automatically attract customers. Number two, vertical integration ultimately will cause faster production and also delivery times, which is definitely great. Reason number three is less reliance on third parties, which can be ultimately risky in a shaky supply chain. And sometimes, again, this is the key, sometimes companies do like to do vertical integration because of the better profit margins. And it's basically a way of saying companies in this case are trying to cut out the middleman. However, it's not all sunshine and rainbows. You see, there are also downsides with vertical integration too. Number one, it can be expensive to build out all those extra parts of businesses. This is the main downside. Number two, it requires expertise across multiple industries, and most companies aren't great at everything. And number three, it can make companies less agile, harder to pivot, or maybe even adapt if the market shifts. And finally, let me give you a good example of vertical integration, and you don't really have to think that long. Why? Because the best example, I believe, is Tesla. You see, unlike most car companies, Tesla is heavily vertically integrated. They build their own batteries, design their chips, and even write their own software for autopilot and energy management. They also sell directly to customers, which means no dealerships in between. And why do they do this? Because this gives them full control over innovation, faster iteration cycles, and also tighter integration between hardware and software, which is especially important in EVs. Of course, it's also super capital intensive. Tesla had to spend a fortune building out factories and tech teams to make this whole thing work. But in the long term, that vertical integration is actually a big reason for why they have absolutely pulled ahead of the traditional automakers. So now that we have got a solid grip on what is vertical integration in the real world, let's bring that idea into the blockchain space. And the question is, how does vertical integration work in the blockchain? But you need to think of it like this. Instead of just building one product or dApp, some blockchain projects are trying to own the full stack. And that means from the actual layer 1 protocol all the way to the apps, developer tools, infrastructure, and even AI agents interacting on chain. And all of this basically means they are not just saying, hey, here is a blockchain, good luck building on it. No, they are saying, here's the blockchain, sure, but here is the compute layer, here is the storage, the smart contracts, the interface tools, and we are going to build some killer apps on top of it too. That, my friends, is vertical integration in Web3. Now, here's a very important point. I believe that vertical integration, when it comes to blockchain, it's actually quite easier. But why is that exactly? You see, in traditional world, vertical integration means massive infrastructure costs, tons of legal complexity, regulatory issues, hiring across total different industries, and it's overall a very, very big lift. On the other hand, in blockchain space, okay, the game is like completely different. Here is why it's actually way, way more feasible. Reason number one is everything is digital by default. You don't really need factories or trucks, you just need code. Reason number two, smart contracts and decentralized protocols let you automate tons of stuff that normally needs full departments in Web2 companies. Reason number three, most tools in Web3 are open source. So basically, projects can integrate faster without reinventing the wheel. And finally, reason number four, for why vertical integration it's actually much easier on blockchain space is because communities are global and open, so you can tap into ecosystems instead of building every single thing from scratch. This means a small but talented team can actually build a full stack product, layer one infrastructure, plus tools, plus front-end apps. And this whole process, I promise you, is actually much faster and cheaper than a company like Tesla trying to own the battery production or retail outlets. Now, at this point, you might say, well, okay, why does vertical integration in blockchain space actually matter? Okay, that's actually a great question, and here is my answer. I believe it's because the more integrated a blockchain project actually is, the better it can control performance, scalability, user experience, and even security. You don't really have to wait on some external layer 2 data oracle to fix its problems. Why? Because you already build your own solution. And in a market where users bounce fast and trust is very, very low, that control can be potentially a game changer. And now we are going to talk about the big topic of the day, and it is Caffeine AI, a product being built on top of internet computer. And at first glance, Caffeine looks like just a normal AI-powered chat tool. It's quite slick, designed for creators and retail users, and has this beautiful ability to generate code. But here is a very, very important point. Caffeine isn't, in my opinion, just built on ICP. It is deeply, deeply integrated with it. Let me explain why that is actually a big deal and why it is actually because of that that I believe maybe Caffeine AI is going to be ultimately a hugely successful product. You see, this is, from my point of view, vertical integration in action. Unlike other AI tools that rely on tons of third-party infrastructure, like for example, AWS for hosting, OpenAI's API for intelligence, and maybe Stripe for payments, Caffeine is being built natively inside the internet computer ecosystem. And what does that mean? It means, number one, the AI runs directly on chain and it's not on someone else's cloud. Number two, it means that Caffeine actually uses ICP's decentralized compute layer instead of relying on Google or Amazon servers. Number three, data is stored and managed through Canister smart contracts. And finally, number four, payments, identities, and access, they all are handled natively with ICP's crypto and authentication stack. So here is what I have to say. The team behind Caffeine doesn't need to depend on outside tools or platforms. They are building the AI, running it, deploying it, and also monetizing it all within one beautifully vertically integrated blockchain system. And if you remember earlier in the video, I said it's actually because of this that I believe Caffeine is potentially going to be a huge success. And you might at this point say, well, okay, why does this matter for actual success? Okay, that's fair. Let's break it down. Here is what Caffeine actually gains from this vertical integration. Number one, again, there is that word, lower cost, and I am all about the cost. In case of caffeine, there is no need to pay Amazon or maybe OpenAI every time a user makes a request. Compute is to a good degree decentralized and much cheaper. Number two, better security and privacy because data never leaves the blockchain. There is no middleman, which means we are having ultimately fewer and fewer breaches. Number three, faster iteration. You see, since the whole stack is under one roof, thanks to ICP, they can actually update and optimize faster than competitors who have to wait on 5 other platforms to play along. And reason number four for why is this such a big deal comes down to crypto native monetization. You see, payments and access can be handled with ICP tokens directly on chain, and that means no banks and no borders, which is absolutely amazing. This isn't just more efficient, okay? I want you to understand this. This is strategic. It gives Caffeine the agility and power to scale in ways that Web2 AI tools simply cannot match. So, after all we just talked about, here is the big takeaway. Caffeine AI isn't just a cool product, okay? It's very important to understand that. It could actually become a launchpad for ICP's price and adoption, and you might ask why? Because it literally proves the use case. It shows that you can build a fast, private, AI-powered app entirely on-chain without relying on a big tech. It brings real users into the ICP ecosystem, not just developers or crypto nerds. And ultimately, the more users start interacting with products like Caffeine, the more demand there will be for ICP tokens, for compute, for payment, for staking. And that, my friends, is real utility, real traction. So you have to remember, in every single bull market, narrative does actually matter. And it seems like that ICP is heavily leaning on the AI narrative. And if we are going to have, I'm not going to say a complete successful launch, let's just say a decent launch, overall, you are going to see in the mid to long term, huge adoption. And sure, there is still a lot to prove, but with projects like Caffeine leading the way and also vertical integration, giving ICP a massive edge, there is, at least in my opinion, a very much real reason to be absolutely optimistic. Right now, the tech at least seems to be ready, the timing is quite solid, and if adoption keeps going like this, well, okay, we might just be at the start of ICP's beautiful next bull run. So I hope I explained that well and you understood why vertical integration when it comes to Caffeine AI is such a big deal and it's very important. And now, having said all that, let's go on the live chart and see what is happening first in the mid to long term, and second, we're going to go on some lower time frames and see what has happened in the last couple of days. Okay, here we are on the live chart, and this is daily time frame. And as you can see, once more, I'm going to say it, in ICP, I believe the setup is there for a magnificent bull run. Why? Couple of reasons. Number one, in the mid to long term, starting from the highest side to all the way down here about the 2.5 low, I think we are actually having a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave up, meaning probably some sort of a low is already in here. Is this the only reason to be bullish? No. What do we have off of the 2.5 low? As you can see, this is a beautiful 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wave impulsive structure up, and it seems like that the current move down that we are having in the last couple of months, actually this is, yeah, this has taken us starting from here about a year and a half now. And I think, again, this is quite a slow and choppy move, meaning we are most likely having a correction structure. And there is a good chance that in ICP, in the mid to long term, this is going to be on a higher degree, wave 1, followed by a correction for wave 2. And what is next if this scenario is happening? You know the answer if you are a regular viewer, a magnificent move up into wave 3 and 4 and 5. And even if you don't want to consider this possibility, okay, then I guess you have to give me the scenario suggesting this is an A correction for wave B, and then at least we are going to have yet another strong move up into our C leg. One way or the other, most cases lead you to having another big move up, and that is kind of the key. Now, what is going on in the short term? Let's go on H1 time frame, and before we talk about what is happening, let's go around here. You see, whenever you are having a couple of highs or maybe lows very close together, usually in case that you're having a move down, a lot of people in these areas are going to open some short positions. And where are they going to put their stop? You know the answer, above these highs right in here. And in most cases, you are going to see a very strong move up, a good move in order to hit all those people's stop loss and make them cry. And why is that important? Let's go around here, and maybe it's best to just hide everything for a moment. Okay, as you can see, these highs are quite close together, and it seems like that in the last 12 hours in ICP, we have gathered some power for a beautiful move up. And I'm going to say this is probably going to continue, and in it, we are going to take all the highs and hit all those stop losses. And the highest high, where is it? It's somewhere around $6.16.2. Now, if we are going to do that, and if we are truly looking optimistic and bullish, then okay, I think we can actually consider the 1-2 possibility. And according to that scenario, from here, this is a wave 1, correction for wave 2, followed by that, we're going to have a strong move up into wave 3, 4, 5, and on a higher degree, this might be into this wave 3, followed by a correction for 4 and even another move up into wave 5. For now in ICP, I think we should actually consider this count. Now, here's a very important point. Every bullish or maybe even bearish count should have a very important invalidation point. And what's it going to be for this one? You know the answer. It's going to be taking this low down here about $4.5. Why is that important? Because let's say from the current point, we're going to get a move down and take this low. At that point, finding a 5 wave in this phase, starting from here to about this high, is going to be extremely challenging, to a degree that is going to make me say, you know what, that's not going to be most likely anybody's primary case, suggesting our move down from here in Internet Computer is going to continue. And in it, we're going to take the lowest low down here for the first target, about $4.1. But I think we can actually go in that case to somewhere around even the $3.7 area. And from my point of view, that's just going to be more buy opportunity, in hope that in the mid to long term, we get that beautiful bull run that we talked about earlier in the video. So overall, ICP seems to be right on the bullish track, and the fact that we are starting to get a decent move up is yet another optimistic sign. And I'm not really sure if like classic patterns, if you do, I guess this can be a bullish head and shoulder structure for you. And what can be a likely target for it? You need to, first things first, put the chart on regular scale. I'm just going to say this in every single video. There is no measuring targets on logarithmic, okay? Please, let's understand that. And then after putting the chart on regular, you need to measure the height of your pattern and then put it at your breaking point. This is giving you like, let's go around here, okay, about a $6.50 ICP. Now, you want to remember, this pattern at the moment is not confirmed yet. When will it get confirmed? The moment that we get a break of the next line, and then we do a pullback followed by a continuation of the move up in order to take this high. If we do this, great. Probably the head and shoulder is going to work and send us up in the short term. And I hope I explained everything well and you understood what is going on in ICP. Anyway, if you found any value in my content, I would really appreciate if you like this video and consider subscribing to my channel and follow me on Twitter. And if you want more, maybe you want a complete analysis for your own specific crypto, or maybe you want to learn some decent TA in order to be able to make good money in the markets, you can become a member and ask me anything you want. And until the next update, I hope you have a wonderful time with your family and loved ones. Goodbye.